Visual schedules were one of the first interventions that I learned to use. It worked incredibly well for supporting transitions and helping clients complete tasks that they didn't necessarily want to do. I used the PREMAC principle constantly, presenting a highly preferred activity after a less preferred one. I build the schedule, stack the reinforcers, and structure the session to run smoothly. And it worked, but eventually I asked myself the harder question. Am I using this tool to support the child or just to quietly control them? Visual schedules are evidence-based, but are we using them in a way that honors the learner's autonomy or just masks compliance as choice? When I started out, I was providing direct services in the community. Visual schedules helped me show kids where we were going and what to expect. My BCBA-D supervisor taught me to use them, and it brought structure, reduced anxiety, and made sessions run smoother. Over time, I started using schedules for play too. I picked the activities, chose how long each would last, and even used tools like the ChoiceWorks app because I loved the built-in timer. I used it to stretch engagement and teach tolerance. But here's what I wasn't thinking about. I wasn't asking what the child actually wanted. Yes, I knew what they liked. Yes, I could build a schedule they'd follow, but it was still my timeline, my choices, and my structure. And that was kind of the point. These were kids who had trouble doing what they were told, especially in school. So I created a system that looked collaborative, but gave me all of the control. They didn't push the schedule away. I made it enjoyable enough that they didn't need to. But one day I asked myself, why can't they help create the schedule? Why can't they take ownership of the session? That question was the start of a shift I couldn't unsee. I had always believed that structure was support, that visual schedules gave clarity and independence. But then it hit me. Independence isn't autonomy, and clarity isn't consent. So I began to wonder, what would it look like to build the schedule with the learner, not just for them? What if they could help choose the order of activities or decide when they needed a break? What if the visual schedule became a tool for their voice, not just for my plan? That shift in thinking changed everything, but making it real was messy. I didn't know where to start. Part of me worried, what if they just pick their favorite thing over and over? What if the session falls apart? Letting go of control, even a little, felt risky. I had spent years learning how to manage behavior, and now I was wondering if those same tools were silencing the learner's voice. So I started small. I offered two choices. Do you want to start with puzzles or a game? Or do you want a break after this activity or the next one? And something interesting happened. The kids didn't become chaotic. They became more engaged, more invested, more relaxed. They didn't just follow the schedule, they helped create it. It wasn't perfect. I had to listen more, pause more, be flexible with my goals so I could make space for theirs. But it worked. Visual schedules can absolutely be part of an Assent-Based autonomy supportive practice, but only if we change how we use them. So let's get practical. If you want to start shifting your visual schedule practices, here's where to begin. The first strategy is to involve the learner in the schedule creation. Start by making the schedule creation process a true collaboration. One of the simplest things you can do is offer 2 to 3 meaningful choices, real objects, photos, or icons of things the learner enjoys or is familiar with. Then ask, what do you want to do today? If they don't respond right away, you can model it, pause, wait for some indication of their preference. Some kids have a hard time making choices, so this might actually reveal a skill that you need to teach. From there, instead of handing over a fixed schedule, invite them to help decide the order. You can lay out a few visuals and say, which one should we do first? What comes after that? Suddenly, you're not just building a schedule, you're introducing planning, sequencing, and giving them a real sense of ownership. And however they communicate, whether it's with AAC, gestures, or even sign language, make sure they can use their preferred method during this process. What matters is that it's accessible to them. And when they participate, even in small ways, acknowledge it. Thanks for picking that one. You're helping us plan together. That feedback reinforces that their input isn't just allowed, it's actually valuable. So the next strategy is giving kids the ability to actually say no. If we're serious about honoring assent, we have to teach kids how to communicate refusal in ways that are safe and respected. Start by making that option visible. You can add red no or visuals that say break, not now, or something else. Then you teach when and how to use them. Make it part of the daily rhythm, not just a backup plan. You can also model what respectful refusal looks like. You can say things like, thanks, I don't want to do that right now, or I need to take a break. And when the learner says no, honor it. That's the moment that trust is built. Respond with something like, you said no, that's okay. Do you want to try something else, or do you want to take a break? If they're showing refusal in less conventional ways, like ripping the schedule or pushing items away, that's still communication. Instead of blocking it, teach alternative ways to express discomfort, such as visuals or gestures for too hard, or I need help, or I don't like that. Because when refusal is safe and heard, you're not just reducing behavior challenges, you're building a relationship that's based on trust. And strategy 3 is to actually build self-advocacy into the schedule. Refusal is a powerful form of communication, but it's just one piece of advocacy. We also want learners to express what they do want and to ask for it in a way that's heard and respected. And a visual schedule can help us actually teach that. So start by including visuals that represent common self-advocacy needs. Things like, I need help, more time, or I'm not ready, or even I want to stop. These should be just as available and accessible as things like snack or play. Then build in teaching moments. Create opportunities where the learner will need to use one of those icons and support them through it. For example, you can give them a task that's a little bit too tricky, and then you can prompt them to say, I need help. When they do, respond right away. Thanks for asking. Sure, let's do that together. That part is critical. When a child communicates a need, we need to honor it. That's how they learn that advocacy actually works. If they say they need a break, give it. If they say they're not ready, then give them space. Advocacy only means something when we follow through. And when they speak up, celebrate it. Let them hear that what they did matters. Say, you told me what you needed. Thank you. Or that was such a great way to take care of yourself. Because we're not just teaching behavior here. We're building the learner's identity as a communicator, someone who knows what they need and believes their voice matters. So the fourth and final strategy is to prepare for pushback. Now, here's the truth. Making the shift to shared control and learner ownership isn't always smooth. Let's talk about what tends to come up and how you can move through it. First, letting go of control can feel really uncomfortable. You've spent years learning how to manage behavior, run tight sessions, and stay on track. Sharing control might feel like chaos at first, so start small. Let the learner choose one part of the session, one moment, and build from there. And second, you might get pushback from your team or from caregivers. They might ask, how will we meet the goals? That's where you can reframe things. We're not giving up on the goals. We're building the skills that help the learner participate in them. You can change, and you can back that up with examples. Increased engagement, reduced problem behavior, smoother transitions. The data is going to be there. You might also notice that learners initially pick only their favorite things, and that's okay. It's part of learning that their voice matters. Over time, once trust is built, you can start using shared decision-making strategies like you pick one and then I'll pick one, or let's do your choice first and then mine. And yes, it will take longer. Co-creating schedules, teaching refusal, responding to advocacy, it's slower than handing over pre-planned sessions, but it's not wasted time. It's invested time. And eventually the learner won't need more support. They're actually going to need less because now they're not just following the plan, they're learning how to make it. Here's what I've come to believe. Visual schedules don't have to be about compliance. They can be about collaboration. When we invite learners into the process, when we give them a way to say no, to choose, to advocate, we're doing more than managing behaviors. We're building trust. We're building autonomy. We're honoring humanity. So yes, use your visual schedules, but make them work for the learner, not just for the session. And if you're realizing that you want practice this way, but something still feels a little bit off, like you're doing all the right things, but still feel drained, I have something that might help. It's a free quiz called You Love ABA, so why are you so drained? It helps you uncover what's missing in your model and what kind of shift might actually help you feel fulfilled again. You can take the quiz using the link below, because if we want to create space for our learners to thrive, we have to create that space for ourselves too.